I spoke with the Communications Minister, Paul Fletcher, and I asked him why, given all of that record, the ABC deserves more money.
Chris, you're referring, I presume, to the decision we've announced today in relation to the funding levels for ABC and SBS over the next triennium, the 3-year period commencing 1 July 2022. And we've made that decision to give both ABC and SBS certainty ahead of the commencement of the triennium. Of course, governments of both political persuasions have had used the triennium approach for 20 years or more. Now, funding is really quite separate from issues about the quality of the ABC's journalism. I sent Ita Buttrose, the chair of the ABC, an open letter in relation to the Four Corners episode concerning my colleagues Christian Porter and Alan Tudge. I reminded the board in that letter that the ABC, under its Act, is required to have news gathering which is accurate and impartial according to the recognised standards of objective journalism. And I also made the point that there were questions about editorial judgment and impartiality when factual allegations concerning matters of dealing between male politicians and female staffers, the only ones they could find, it seemed, concerned coalition parliamentarians. Similarly, there have been complaints, for example, about a number of stories that the ABC has run.
But Minister, of course there have been some complaints. Sorry to cut you off, but we get the point there. Of course there have been complaints because the ABC continues to be biased, particularly against Conservative politicians and running its Green Left causes. Now, you're going to have campaigning during the election campaign where ABC journalists will continue to campaign against the coalition parties. You'll have the ABC getting a lot of support from the Australian Labor Party, from the Greens, from the Friends of the ABC campaigning in crucial seats, from these new voices, so-called Green independents will be campaigning for more ABC money as well. So you've thrown more money at them. You think this is going to change anything, or do you think they're all going to still attack you anyway?
And one of the other things that will be said fallaciously by the Labor Party and by others in this campaign is that in some way one party is a stronger supporter of the national broadcasters than the other. And for example, as I've made the point today on a number of occasions, the News Media Bargaining Code that the Morrison government legislated, requiring Google and Facebook to deal with Australian news media businesses, there was great scepticism about whether we were going to achieve an outcome there, but we have. And one of the consequences of that has been the ABC, just before Christmas, announcing up to 50 journalists to be employed in regional and remote Australia.
Yeah, exactly. You've won more money for the ABC from private sources. This is incontestable. You're looking after the ABC, but my point is about political bias and not doing anything to address that except give them more money. What hope is there for decent political debate in this country and fair political outcomes if taxpayers continue to fund to the tune of more than $1 billion a year an organisation, a major news organisation that is not interested in fair and objective journalism, that is only interested in pushing an anti-conservative cause?
Well, Chris, I've been clear as Minister in the things that I want the ABC to do. For example, I've been pressing them to move from Ultimo to Western Sydney, because Ultimo is not Sydney and Sydney is not Australia. Now, the ABC has now agreed that it intends to establish a significant presence in Parramatta and move a significant number of journalists to Parramatta. That's good. It needs to go further because I'm not disagreeing with you that the ABC needs to be reflective of and responsive to the needs and interests of all Australians and not just a particular inner city green left mindset. And there's a number
Well, just
of
on
things
that
need to
point,
happen
Minister,
to
if you're
achieve
not disagreeing with me, can you just answer this straight out question? Is the ABC providing unbiased and objective political coverage in this country?
Where there are occasions where the ABC doesn't do that, and regrettably there are, then certainly as Minister, I have raised my concerns with the ABC and I'll continue to do that.
But those occasions are from sun up to sundown, from sun up till midnight every day. The point is, if they're not providing unbiased and objective political coverage in their news, then they are breaching their charter, i.e. breaching the law. Why won't a Conservative government, of all things, do something about that?
We are very clear on wanting the ABC to do the best possible job of serving all Australians, not just particular groups of Australians. And that's why I welcome the fact that just before Christmas, that funding that was secured from Google and Facebook is being used to provide extra journalists in regional and remote Australia, because we know that it's very important that people in regional and remote Australia are receiving news stories about what's happening in their parts of the country. And the more that we have ABC journalists who are based in regional and remote Australia, the more we're going to be getting a better understanding from the ABC and better coverage of what is being done in that very important part of our nation.
You can only hope, Minister, you can only hope. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm afraid that's all the time we've got.
Thank you, Chris.
The Communications Minister, Paul Fletcher there.